Hey everybody, welcome in today's session. In today's session, we're going to go over a couple of currency pairs that are on my watch list. If you have any questions, as this is a live webinar, you can obviously ask the questions and I'll be sure to answer them. So without further ado, let's get right into it. JJ, you've already posted the first question. You're saying that you're looking to take buys on GJ. What do I think? All right, cool. Let's dive right into GJ. Looking to take buys on this thing, hey? All right, let's take it from the top. We're going to start from the daily. How's the pair looking? Cool. So, okay, let me remove these. Looks like I had some kind of analysis on this. So I think here there was a descending trend line. I just removed it. Yeah, it was something like that. So on GJ, we can see prices are in this kind of triangle pattern, right? Prices are kind of in a triangle pattern. And recently they just hit this third touch on this descending trend line, ascending trend line, excuse me. And we can see here, yesterday, prices closed with an inside candle after being rejected from this trend line with a bullish inside momentum, right? So frankly, for me, if you ask me what you have to do on GJ, I'd say you wait for prices to break out of this triangle pattern first before you actually make any moves, because it's still consolidating and you can see prices are kind of still converging here, right? So it's only a matter of time before prices break above or break below. It looks like my bias was to break below. So obviously that must have been influenced by the JPY, but let's look at that. So we got the JPY here on the daily perspective. The reason why I said, or I anticipated to see sells on GJ was because I'm anticipating the the JPYX to keep on pushing higher as I'm bullish biased. As you can see, it has this inverse head and shoulders pattern, creating market structure that's an uptrend. Prices just bounced off this market structure that correlated with the 0.5 Fibonacci key level. So for instance, if we just use that, let's ignore all the other factors and just use this impulse move and this correction, we have the pretty good picture that prices have a very high possibility of keep on pushing higher all the way past even this green line to somewhere up here, right? But that's just based off this structure. But we obviously understand, like, prices, for instance, this pattern, this inverse head and shoulders pattern isn't complete until this neckline is broken. And we can see once prices reached here, as they did yesterday, they were rejected, right? So obviously we understood, like, once prices started this move, I told you this was the first touch, or this was the first targets, right? Because there's a market structure and there's a descending trend line. As you can see, prices, there was this descending trend line all the way from out here, somewhere. It's from the weekly perspective, I think. So that was the beginning. The second touch was here, and then the third touch was here, which it happened yesterday. So obviously we can see prices rejected off that. Still bullish biased, obviously, because the structure is still bullish. But given this rejection, I'm going to anticipate low-term or short-term kind of retracements before we actually see kind of continuations in this pair. So based off, this is the daily time frame. Let's go to the 4 hours and see what's happening with that. Okay, so this is what's happening on the 4 hours. Let's remove this first. We can see prices are still in an uptrend on the 4 hour, as we had a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and prices are looking as if they're creating a higher low, because we can see the past 4 hours prices closed with a doji, that indicating a lack of momentum. In the current 4 hour that has just opened 15 minutes ago, has already engulfed the previous 4 hours. So this can be a great indication that prices can keep on pushing higher, right? This can be a great indication that prices will keep on pushing higher. So with this in our back, we should be anticipating to see prices, if they close with a solid bullish momentum, prices to keep on pushing higher, right? Based off the JPY pairs. DXY obviously is still pushing lower. Now, we remember last time when we talked about this, we were like, okay, prices are looking to go higher, but we might be seeing retracements until here before we take off, right? Now, if we look on the 4 hours, we can actually notice that prices broke below this low, gave us kind of a retest, and now they're continuing to push lower. We have a trade that's running based off this thesis. The Euro USD that's floating at over 100 pips as we speak. I hope you guys took the trade, by the way. I hope you guys took the trade. Okay, just a minute. Looks like okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I'm anticipating to see the US dollar keep on pushing lower until it hits here and then it takes off. Okay, somebody has asked me what I think of USD CAD. Let me look at that. USD CAD is never really in my watch list. So let's see what it has. Okay, it looks like prices have broken out of this. Prices have broken above this descending trend line. Created a higher high that's higher than this, obviously. So we should be anticipating some kind of a continuation. I'll be bullish burst on this pair. Bullish burst. Obviously looking to take a continuation trade, but mind you, there's a resistance here. So if you take a trade, perhaps I'd suggest a quick intraday trade or a scalp trade to take your trade until prices tap here. And then after that, you can look if prices have broken above to look for the next targets somewhere up here. That's the way I trade USD CAD currently, because the trend is looking very bullish. Prices just broke above this trend line and this market structure. So I should be anticipating to see prices do that. And once they break above that structure, some kind of a continuation for prices to keep on going higher until they reach there, right? So basically that's what I'd anticipate on USD CAD. However, you have to wait for confirmations before you take the trade. As you know, I'm a price action trader. Confirmation is key for you to take it, for you to get that before you actually take a trade. So really be careful with that. Really need to be careful with that. All right, cool. So let's look at the other currency pairs that we have. US dollar, we're anticipating to see it keep on selling. Euro USD, we're anticipating it to keep on buying. As you can see here, if we zoom in, this is from the daily perspective, by the way. We have some kind of a double bottom here. You see, this is the first bottom, this is the second bottom, this is the neckline, and prices have broken above that. So obviously, we have to anticipate some kind of a retracement on the neckline before prices keep on pushing higher. You can see we're in profits now. We are floating at about 97 pips. So obviously, we should be looking to see prices retrace this kind of zone here before we see that continuation for prices to push all the way until somewhere up there. So yeah, that's the move I'll be looking for. Okay, so what do you term as confirmation? A break of structure on a lower time frame? And how low do you go? Hey iPad. So what I consider confirmations, I always use candlesticks as my confirmations. I don't really consider anything else other than that confirmation. A break of structure is just an indication of market printing a certain indication, right? So if, for instance, prices break a support like here, they're just indicating that the bulls are stronger than the bears, right? But for me to take a trade, my confirmation will have to be formed by the candlestick. So I always use candlesticks as confirmations, nothing more, nothing less, you know? That's what I use. How low do I go? Obviously, it depends on the type of trades I'm looking at. If I want to take a swing trade, obviously I have to take the entry at the 4 hours or 1 hour. If it's an intraday trade, it's either 1 hour or 15 minutes. That's as low as I go. 15 minutes, low as I go. And I rarely use the 15 minutes, rarely. Mostly I always stick with the 1 hour. Haven't taken trades for over 3 weeks now. Poof, JJ, yo, man, you gotta take the trade. You gotta pull the trigger, my man. You gotta pull the trigger. Okay. Is there any difference between choke and break of structure? Stevens, I don't really use. I'm not sure what strategy that is. I always see it's choke. I'm not sure if it's ICT or smart money. I'm not really sure. So I really can't answer that question. I use pure price action. I find it simpler, very, very simple. You know, that's the one I use. So I can't really answer that question because I don't really know what's choke or break of structure. But I think I know the long form. I think choke is change of character, BOS is break of structure. But I don't really know their indications because I've never really studied those strategies, you know? So I can't really answer that question to be for certain. I use price action. Break of structure like this, you know, structure has been broken, support turned into a resistance, broken, turned into support, waiting for a retest, taking the trade. It's simple as that. That's the only strategy I use. No indications, no indicators, no nothing. Simplest strategy I use. So the trades that we're going to be focusing on right now, obviously we can see JPY is taking off. We can see JPY is taking off after the, like, you see the way this strategy is simple. The structure has been broken. This is the retest. We're anticipating to see a continuation. And now prices are giving us this as a indication that prices will keep on pushing higher. So the pairs that we'll be watching are obviously JPY because it has a better indication, right? It shows us that prices have a higher possibility of pushing higher on the JPY. So this will give us an indication that the JPY will start selling. As we can see here on USD JPY, prices are now selling. On the 1 hour, we can see that the bearish momentum is kicking in very heavy. We have about 2 minutes until the 30 minutes close. I think we are going to look for an entry. If we take a trade here and we put our stops above that, we can easily get a 1:4.95. We can force that to become 5 with our targets just slightly like that. Okay, so this is the trade that we're going to be looking at right now. About 5.5. Okay, this is one we just got on the live. A trade we just got on the live, 1:6. We can make it a 1:6, guys. We can make it a 1:6. Okay, let's look at the 30 minutes, how it's looking. Bearish momentum kicking in hot. Okay, 4 hours, we saw prices were coming high and they lost that momentum in the previous 4 hours right there. And we should be anticipating to see a continuation. Daily, that was our anchor candlestick. Okay, so this will be kind of a risky entry though. This will be kind of a risky entry. I wouldn't say you risk even 1%. Nah, don't risk 1, risk half. If you're going to be looking at an entry on this, risk 0.5%. Reason for that, on the 1 hour here, this is the most recent high and prices broke above that high. So this means the structure is kind of bullish, right? The only reason we are taking this trade is because of its correlation with the JPYX. And the JPYX obviously is still bullish, and we can see this bullish momentum kicking in. It's very solid. This is the only reason that we're only taking this trade. Oh, look at that. So prices did break below this, but it's kicking in with that solid, strong momentum. Whew. Okay, so we're not going to be taking this trade on the close of the 30 minutes. We're not going to be taking this entry right now. Scratch, I said we are going to take it after the 30 minutes close. We're not going to be taking it after that. We're going to wait for the whole 1 hour to close. The whole 1 hour will actually give us a better perspective if we can take the trade or not. We're not going to take it after this 30 minutes. We have to wait for a solid confirmation because it's a risky entry. We want a solid confirmation. So we're not going to take this trade on the 30. We're going to wait for the whole 1 hour to close. Let's look at other JPY pairs. With this Gbpjpy, with Gbpjpy, prices on this kind of structure here. If we're looking to sell this pair, it's not really giving us nice indications. We're not going to be looking at that. Eurjpy, okay, Eurjpy, it's a little bit better as prices are on this resistance and the descending trend line. Eurjpy prices broke below this and resistance. Okay, cool. So Eurjpy may be one of the pairs we're focusing on. It's better than the rest, right? Prices broke below this descending trend line. It's now on a resistance and descending trend line. JJ, you've asked me to look at GJ again. Okay, so you can see GJ is now kicking in heavy, like with this solid bearish momentum, right? But still, I stand with what I just said. You really have to wait to see how prices will break out of this structure. Like, I really wouldn't trade GJ until prices break out of this triangle pattern. But obviously, I'm anticipating to see bears kick in because JPY is taking off. Cut JPY, prices are above this resistance and we're looking to sell. So we are not really going to be focusing on this. So on the JPY pairs, the only pair that we're going to be focusing on is Eurojpy. Eurojpy is the pair that we're going to be focusing on, and USD JPY. So we're going to be focusing on USD JPY. Probably the trade that we're going to take will be your USD JPY, but we're also going to be looking at Eurojpy. So these are the two pairs that we're going to be looking at. If this 1 hour closes with this bearish momentum, we're going to take a trade. If it doesn't, oh well, that's that. DXY, we're not really going to be focusing on this because we already have a trade in it and prices have already broken the structure, given us a retest, and the trade has already started. So if we start looking for opportunities now, we'll be just like jumping in a moving train. It's bound to wreck us, you know? So I'm not really going to be focusing on that unless perhaps maybe trades come back here and then give us some kind of a continuation. Then we might look for an entry to swing with it all the way until down here. But other than that, I'm really not going to be focusing much on US dollar. Rather, we're going to be looking at USD JPY and Euro JPY for trading opportunities based off the JPY correlation with them. So yeah, that's the presentation I had for you guys today. If anybody has a question or a pair he'd like me to talk about, now will be your time. Man, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Do you have a favorite trading pair that you trade as your bread and butter, or do you trade anything? So iPad, I don't really have a favorite trading pair, but this is my watch list. Like, I only have about 7 pairs that I'm trading. And the best performing pair is Eurojpy. My favorite trading pair that I love is gold, but recently it hasn't been giving me a lot of trading opportunities. And I can see somebody asked me, what about gold? So let's just break it down. So with gold, I'm not really looking to trade it recently. The reason being is that gold is acting funny. Like, you know, with gold, it's USD. This is gold USD. Like, gold USD has to be inversely correlated with DXY. If the price of gold increases, the price of the US dollar has to be decreasing. Like, they're inversely correlated. But recently, they have been moving in harmony. Like, look at this. DXY is falling and gold is also falling. So they're moving in harmony, which isn't a good sign because they're inversely correlated. So I'm not really focusing on this because it has too many, controversials with it, right? Like it's not a norm for gold to be moving in harmony with the US dollar. If one is rising, the other is falling. So that's why I haven't really looked at it that much, because it's actually moving in harmony with the US dollar. But as you can see here, it's still pushing lower. It just broke below this trend line. So if we are talking about pure price action, ignoring all the other external factors, I'd obviously still be looking for a sell on this thing. I'd be looking for a sell on gold. Perhaps a retest here before I get that continuation. Something like that. And then from there, perhaps a continuation until prices tap down here. So that's my view on gold, but I don't really want to trade it until I'll look for a sell if DXY actually reaches down here. Once DXY reaches here and it starts buying, I'll be looking for sells on gold. But currently, I'm not really going to be focusing on that because it can't be moving in harmony with the US dollar. It's very easy for you to get false doubt of a trade because of that correlation bias, right? So I'm not really going to be putting my money at risk for that. I'll just be focusing on the pairs that actually I have a solid understanding with right now, and they're actually moving with according to my bias. So yeah, that's my gold view, and my favorite pair is gold. Actually, I just love gold. But my best performing pair is Eurojpy along with EURUSD, coming slightly below it. Which country are you from? From Tanzania, East Africa, Tanzania. Anybody from Tanzania here? Geoffrey is in the building. Welcome, Geoffrey. Ishaku, Ismail, Job, everybody, welcome. So we are just winding up the session, guys. As I just said, the sessions are always brief, very short, because we don't want to waste a lot of your time. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be having these Zooms regular as possible because, nowadays, because I only do trading. So most of the other things are delegated to the other side. So we should be having players time. Job, nakubali. Tuko pamoja, brother. Tuko pamoja. So yeah. Thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you showing up. Till next time, guys. I'll be letting you know when we're having the Zooms beforehand so that you be prepared. With that being said, guys, take it easy out there. If I do get a training opportunity, I'll obviously share it with the group. So stay tuned. Please do share with your few friends that you do. The group will be of value. And if you're watching this from YouTube, the description of the group or the link to the group will be